It was recently announced that TV actor James Michael Tyler had passed away peacefully at his home from cancer. While the star may not be recognizable to all audience members by name, they'll likely recognize him when they see him as the man who played the memorable role of Central Perk manager Gunther on Friends. Fans and former co-workers alike have been taking to social media to pay their respects. Join Trender as we pay tribute to James Michael Tyler, Gunther from Friends. James Michael Tyler was a TV actor best known for his portrayal of Gunther on Friends. The character was the manager of the coffee shop where all of the friends would touch base, and the name of the shop was Central Perk. James passed away on October 24, 2021, at 59 years old. A personal representative announced his death to the public. Although James was certainly most recognizable to the public as Gunther, those close to the actor knew him as many different things. He was also a practicing musician, and he became a passionate advocate for cancer awareness after his diagnosis in 2018. He had been diagnosed with prostate cancer, but didn't make his diagnosis public until recently. The announcement was made a few weeks after the actor's appearance in the HBO Max special, Friends: The Reunion, which he appeared in via Zoom. Alongside his announcement, James expressed the reason he had appeared on the special via Zoom instead of in person is because he didn't want to put a damper on the event. In addition to acting and spreading awareness about cancer, James was also a loving husband and good friend. He enjoyed going to concerts and also liked watching live sports. In real life, he was a good deal friendlier and more outspoken than his popular character on Friends. James appeared in all 10 seasons of the classic show, but that wasn't the only show he ever appeared on. He could also be seen on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Modern Music, and Scrubs. Friends co-creators Marta Kaufman and David Crane were two of the first public figures to speak out regarding James's death. They paid their respects by saying the actor was a kind and considerate man who brought a lot to the sitcom. Apparently, James had originally been hired onto the show as an extra before catching the eye of the creators over the course of the series' first season. They subsequently started giving him lines and created the character around him because they liked his unique spirit. However, other sources claim that James was given his role as the Central Perk manager because he was the only extra who could work the set's coffee machine. Either way, he ended up becoming an icon. In addition to being the manager of Central Perk, Gunther was also in love with the character of Rachel. However, the character never posed a legitimate romantic threat to Ross. In real life, Gunther was happily married up until the time of his death. His wife's name is Jennifer Carno, and she was devastated by the loss. James made his cancer diagnosis public in June of 2021. He had been diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer during a routine physical in 2018. By the time the actor made the announcement, the cancer had spread throughout his bones and had left him without the ability to walk. Though the actor was going through hormone therapy in a desperate attempt to ward off the increasing effects of the cancer, the outcome wasn't looking good. As one of the leading causes of death in men around the world, prostate cancer is not uncommon, but the kind James had was especially aggressive and spread very quickly through his body despite treatment. James ended up passing away only 3 years after his diagnosis, while other cases of prostate cancer may abate without treatment. The co-creators of Friends certainly weren't the only figures to come out on social media and pay their respect to James. Everyone who worked with the actor had a ton of respect for him, and he spent the last few years of his life trying to educate people about the disease that was eating him away from the inside. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like, and subscribe to Trender if you haven't already. It was simply good timing that James was able to appear in the HBO Max special Friends: The Reunion before his death. Although the actor's former co-workers on the show had all been made aware of his cancer diagnosis, it hadn't been made public. Although James only appeared via Zoom, it was still important for him to be there. According to James, he felt he might bog down the situation if he showed up in person to sit alongside the main actors. So he instead stayed comfortably at his LA home and appeared via Zoom. James was certainly a huge part of Friends, having appeared in nearly 150 episodes. Friends ran from 1994 to 2004, and James was a part of the show throughout all 10 years. James was grateful that his Zoom appearance in Friends: The Reunion allowed him to keep the celebration light, as he had no intention of making the special an emotionally hefty and depressing expose on his cancer. The main cast of Friends was similarly glad to have the actor who played Gunther appear in Friends: The Reunion, and they were also among the many parties who came out after his death to pay their respects. One of the first was Jennifer Aniston, who played the unrequited object of his character's affection on the show, Rachel Green. Aniston said she couldn't have imagined Friends without him due to all he had brought to the show. Though the actor had started out as an extra, he became something much more memorable by the end of the show's run. During the penultimate episode, Gunther finally expressed to Rachel how he felt about her. Although Gunther was hoping Rachel would end up turning down Ross for him, she ended up turning Gunther down instead. Courtney Cox was another of James's former Friends co-stars who came out to pay their respects. She remembered the actor for how thankful he was when he was gradually promoted from being an extra to being one of its most memorable recurring characters. Courtney, who played Monica Geller, concluded her message by saying she hopes James rests in peace. Lisa Kudrow, who played Phoebe, was another former co-star to pay her respects. True to her character's musical nature, Lisa referenced Friends' popular theme song when paying tribute, saying she was grateful the actor was always there for the cast and crew of the show, just as the friends on the program had always been there for each other. She said she'd miss James very much. Matt LeBlanc, who played Joey, paid his respects as well. He shared a classic picture of him and James getting along well together on the set of Friends, with Matt saying the two shared quite a few laughs together when the cameras weren't rolling. Finally, David Schwimmer, who played Ross, paid his respects to James via social media. The actor shared he felt James wonderfully portrayed the character of Gunther and turned him into one of the most memorable parts of the show. He also expressed that he felt James was just as memorable off-screen as on it, and was always a true gentleman. Although James was an extra on Friends since the very first season, the character of Gunther didn't officially make his debut until the show's 33rd episode. That episode saw Rachel pull the Central Perk worker aside and ask him if he had stairs in his apartment. Of course, Rachel was just looking for a reason to get rid of a slinky that Ross had given her as a gift. Rachel didn't want it, and she passed it along to Gunther after realizing the coffee shop manager had stairs to play with it on. Perhaps Rachel's act of kindness is the reason Gunther grew so attracted to her, but it's more likely he'd been obsessed with Rachel since the beginning. Although Gunther was always obsessed with Rachel, he didn't have any interest in any of the other titular friends. Memorably, he couldn't even tell them apart. Now it's time to hear from you. Comment down below to share if you were saddened to learn about the passing of James, or if you were surprised to learn he had initially been cast as an extra. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Trender if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.